live, so be careful, okay? I want you to get rid of all these wires, get rid of all this tubing, clean the fucking carpets, because they're fucked. Go to his bedroom, try to set something up you can sleep on. There's a tub, a shower, and a sink out back. I want you to bring those in, find some fucking parts somewhere, install those, and make sure they're working in the bathroom. Then I'll give you 2 cheeseburgers, simple as that.
Double cheeseburgers, Ricky.
Hey, listen. That'd be 3 or 4 cheeseburgers, wouldn't it? I said 2, okay?
Same amount of buns.
Randy, 2 fucking cheeseburgers. Take it and leave it. There's a little piece of hash. Go to the stove, do some hot knives, get stoned, and get the fuck to work, okay?
I can't get stoned, Ricky.
What do you mean? It's shitty work. Everybody does that, all right? Carpenters, electricians, dishwashers, floor cleaners, lawyers, doctors, fucking politicians, CBC employees, principals, people that paint the lawns on the fucking roads. Get stoned. It'll be fun. Get to work. Oh, this is most important. Go down to the ship mart. I need a bag of chicken chips. If they don't have chicken, give me dill pickle. And I want a chocolate milk, okay? Here's some money.
Ahoy, tent pirates, plant parents, conscious consumers, and the morbidly curious. Welcome to Cultivation Conversation, a podcast for growers by growers. Come chat with our hosts, Captain Autoflower, the Real Green Monster, and myself, Girl Go Grow. Grab a bouquet of your favorite flowers, apparatus of choice, and don't forget the fire while I tell you about the special companies that help keep this ship afloat. We are busy people, and we demand the best for our plants, so all 3 of us automate our grows with Autopots. Available in over 63 countries, gravity-powered Autopot systems rely on no pumps, no timers, and no power to operate. This plant-driven automated watering is so precise, it will reduce consumption of feed while increasing yield. An effective and efficient way to delegate a little responsibility. Let your plants feed themselves. Use code CC10 at autopot-usa.com. If quality is the name of your game, look no further than AC Infinity. AC Infinity's grow tents, lights, accessories, and ventilation systems offer reliability and affordability along with total environmental control. Use code CULTIVATION on acinfinity.com to save even more. Frass Valley produces the highest quality superworm frass. Naturally strengthen your plants and enhance their resistance to pests and disease. Use code CC10 at frassvalley.com. We are big fans of Mass Hydroponics. Whether you're a local in Massachusetts or accessing their full online catalog, they are your one-stop shop for all of your growing needs. Use code CC10 at mass-hydro.com.
What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? How are you doing this evening?
Hello, my darlings.
Howdy, motherfuckers.
Been a long couple weeks, my friends. I know.
Yeah, it felt really weird. Not gonna lie.
Summer happens, you know.
Yeah.
3 weeks, though. That's a long time.
Ooh, yeah, but well, we're glad to be back. Shit, what?
Well rested.
Yeah, right. Well, I had some not so restful occurrences during those 3 weeks, I will say. But if you're well rested, then that. Well, since you ask, sure, why not? Like a little before we talk about what we're smoking on tonight. I had to go in for surgery. I posted a picture in the Discord. Like I had to get put under anesthesia, and they operated on me. Just, superficial stuff. I'm okay. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna survive. But yeah, like it was really bizarre. And I mean, I've had it done once before, like when I had my wisdom teeth out, but not since. And like the anesthesiologist was asking me like a shit ton of questions, like about. Well, I told him, I'm a cannabis user. I'm a medical cannabis patient in my state, which, yeah, I mean,
very important to tell your
being honest.
Extremely important.
Is that what the anesthetist? Not
Anesthetist, anesthesiologist.
Okay. Well, I don't like saying either of them, so
Okay.
we'll just whichever one I say is fine. But like, so they asked me a shit ton of questions, and I was really honest, and he's like, how often do you smoke? And I'm just like, yes. And he's, he's like all the time, like
Always.
pretty much always. Like I'm, wake up, I take a bong rip or 4, like he's like, well, you just got to refrain like from like you're going to fast the night before. You got to refrain from smoking too. And just make sure you stop at like, I'm like, when, like midnight, like when, when's my last bong
Give me
rip?
the minute.
I'm going to take that celebratory last bong rip before I get put under. But I don't mean to go on about it. It was not a fun experience, but I'm fine. I just wanted to encourage everyone else out there, like you said, to always be honest with your anesthetist or your anesthesiologist.
Yep.
Especially about your
whoever's administering drugs to you.
Yeah, your cannabis use.
Please be honest with them.
They told me I had to I was really sick afterwards because they told me they had to use like 3 times what they usually use for people, which interestingly enough, he called the redhead dose.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you know that?
It's
redheads take like way more anesthesia to like have the same effect for some reason.
That's because they're fucking bonkers. I can confirm. I'm married to one. Yeah. Holy shit. I didn't know that. Yeah. There's only one issue, and you definitely should say that to your anesthesiologist. However, if you go to get life insurance afterwards and that's on your medical report, it can fuck it up.
What, that you're a ginger?
No, that too. No, that you're married to one because your life expectancy will be shorter. No, that you smoke cannabis.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things.
I wonder if it's specifically because you say you smoke cannabis. I wonder if you take it all orally. It doesn't matter.
No, it's probably so black and white. They're just like cannabis. That's it.
Do you think that it's not because you're a smoker?
I mean, it could be, but I'd guess that it wasn't. It's just like, oh, cannabis user, fucking stamp. Like you're a fucking loser now.
What a loser.
Do you think though that the cannabis really affects the anesthesia?
Yes,
dude,
it does.
I don't know. Like
yes.
I imagine it does, since they asked me so many questions, and since I would consider myself like a pretty heavy user, and I had to, they gave me the redhead dose, and I'm not a redhead, so it's just interesting.
That is interesting.
Shit,
Yeah.
But what
redhead dose?
The redhead dose.
I'm gonna fucking be busting my wife's balls about that one for a while.
It's funny, dude.
Like, yeah, you guys are fucking so crazy. They gotta give you double.
Oh shit. Oh fuck them. Hold on. Honey, I need a lighter.
Oh my gosh, I almost asked you before the show too, and I was like, "There's no way you forgot it."
She's gonna come to the rescue. Don't worry. So, what are you guys smoking on while I await a delivery?
Ladies first. G3.
Ask the question again. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention for a second.
When hosts aren't listening, what are you smoking?
Yeah. Oh, what am I smoking? Yeah. I mean, obviously, that's the question, right? This is blueberry limeade from Joint Custody.
Nice.
It's the only strain I have right now that doesn't turn me into an idiot. Everything else I have turns me into a moron. So I figured this only makes me slightly not pay attention. So sorry, get what you get. You don't get upset.
That one's a really, really good looking. Terpy too. Even though you said you had like drying issues with it.
I did, but I did not burp her at all in the beginning of cure because I was like, I dried her too fast. I need to save whatever I have left in here. So for like the first 3 days of cure, I didn't burp the jar. And then I popped it open and I was like, holy lime. It was great.
Did you get that like pop when you crack the jar open from it being shut off? Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely not as great as she probably could have been. I did not do her justice, but it's not a total fail.
Now, this is going to sound silly coming out of my mouth, and some people might do a double take. But have you ever thought of considering to get like one of those herbs here now dryers?
Wait, can you say that again?
Wait.
Yeah, no, look, I've said it before. I've said it before. They work. You know what I mean? And if you don't have the space for like a big dry room, that they work. I've seen them. I'm impressed with. I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't think it's quite as good as a nice slow hang dry. But,
I don't think I'd be opposed necessarily. There's just, I don't know. There's something about hanging and curing the way that it's always been done. Like,
I'm with you.
Kind of want to see those carcasses hung upside down for a while.
Tradition.
Yes.
We hang dry.
Yeah.
I want one for myself, just to be able to like have something to smoke on in a couple days after, because it's
a great idea to try it. Yeah.
Oh, like it kills me when they're sitting there hanging and you like go and squish them and you feel how dry they are. You're like, I'll be back for you, bitch. And like
as soon as I pop them upside down, I take small, like probably 3 from each plant, small little testers, and throw them on the light. And they just sit up there. They dry in like a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Same difference.
Do a speed dry
when
your stash is running low. I do that from time to time, but so I have seen Joint is doing like a breeding run of the blueberry limeade. So keep your eyes out, guys, if you're looking for those lime terps, especially paired with that blueberry. Oh man.
She was robust.
Nice.
She was Amazonian plant. She was fun. I liked her.
Amazonian. How about you, Monster?
I'm smoking on some Prayer Glue hash rosin, and I am fucking loving it. It's just all gas and sour, and I can't get enough of it, honestly.
Gas and sour.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely you get that glue vibe from it too. It's the flower from it is I really enjoy smoking that as well. It's like a heavy sativa high, but you still get that indica feeling from the glue. So it's like a really good hybrid to like get shit done. And like you're fucking retarded. Don't get me wrong. Like you're just floating around, but you feel like you're getting shit done. Like I was walking around with
that is not the same thing.
No, I enjoy it a lot actually. Like this is definitely a keeper as far as I'm concerned.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, effects kind of dictate a lot, man. If it has those effects you're looking for.
Yeah, I've always kind of I liked having like a more like narrow leaf sativa variety, but it doesn't really mesh well with my personality. This seems to very nicely. So I like it. Yeah.
Right on.
Definitely digging it.
Yeah, that's
what is normal sativas you don't like?
I'm already a high-strung individual, and I get I don't need that extra I don't know.
That anxiety?
The coffee and cannabis is enough for me, most times. But I like having I'll put it to you like this: I haven't really found a sativa, narrow leaf, however you want to refer it, that I can smoke all day and be content with. This
not even Mango Smile.
No, it's too much of that, and it's just not good for me. It doesn't.
She's kind of like a speeding train.
Yeah. This is very well balanced. It's definitely I'd say an 80-20 sativa indica, but you get that just enough to kind of have you feel it in your head. I don't know. Yeah. I enjoy it a lot, and the flavor profile is awesome. And she fucking produced. I can't complain at all. Checked all the boxes. You hear that all the time. You know what I mean? But for me to want to keep it around, it has to, check the boxes for me.
Yeah, well, that's funny you say that. We're gonna think. I want everyone in the audience to think about what those boxes might be. We're gonna come back.
All right. What about you?
Keepers and which boxes you're looking to tick. I am, still enjoying the the bounty of my recent harvests. Tonight I have peanut butter and cray, PB and cray, and it's up there, man. With like, I mean, top 1 or 2 easy. I think I talked about it on the last show or the one before that. Like, it's little meaty, a little bit of meat terps.
Oh yes, now I remember.
Not a lot. It's like a spiced meat stick, maybe like a Slim Jim. Very pleasant. It just gets me super high. In the right kind of way, you know, like not. I don't know, like the effect that I get from it is maybe a little more sativa oriented than the others, which I thought would be good for the show. So, and man, it presses into some great rosin. Yeah, like definitely would have been one of my keepers had I thought ahead and taken clones. So problem was I thought I found the keeper during the grow. I was like 100% convinced. You know what I mean? Like, it was just the way the plant looked, the way the flowers smelled during its growth were like, just had me like, my jaw was dropped every time I'd open the tent. Just like, I loved this one, the Violet Beauregard #1, you know, and it was like, oh man, this is my keeper. I'm re-vegging this one. Like, I kind of, you don't really know, at least I don't know how to tell a keeper in veg. You know, I'm looking at flowers. I'm waiting for like signs of what I'm going to be smoking on, like the smells, the sights, like the bud shape, all that good stuff. And I was like, 100% certain I found my keeper in Violet Beauregard #1. I got her re-vegging upstairs because, I was like, that was my plan. Just going to chop them and re-veg this one. And now, wouldn't you know it, after smoking on them for like a week, well, more than a week, we've been smoking on for the better part of a month now. So I'm familiar with them. That's not my keeper. It's not my keeper.
Switch.
I thought it was, but like, smells change, okay, throughout the dry and the cure. Like, I don't know what it is. Like the other Violet Beauregard, which just didn't it wasn't speaking to me when it was growing.
You're talking about #2?
Yeah, #2.
You only grew 2 of them, right?
Yeah, I had 2 of them, like big ones in the back, the big girls. And #2 just wasn't speaking to me. But like, when I smoke the flower, it like the terps just come through like way more on the taste.
Just smelling the jar, she was better, like significantly better.
You remember?
I do. That's why I took her home with me.
I know, and it was like,
you even
so
still
sure
then you were like, nope,
#1.
#1's my keeper, and I'm like, #2's better.
I know. G3 called it. She did.
Sorry.
She did.
The missus called it before I
called
did.
It. I know. It was like, it was obvious. I mean, I think that speaks more to it than anything else, is the fact that,
you were
like,
blinded by love.
Exactly. I was blinded by loving the plant so much when it was alive that it clouded my judgment on the first couple smokes. And I was like, oh yeah, this #1. No, it's not the #1. It's the #2 of the Violet Beauregards. And this peanut butter, or the PB and cray, like, I would have kept this one around too. Amazing Slim Jim terps. But it's just like, that was my error, like being blinded by love, blinded by the beauty of the live plant. And
a little bit of sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly. And like, I, as a grower, let the cues that I'm seeing, like, throughout the plant's life, dictate which one's going to be my keeper. And that's not it, guys. Like, that's not it. That's not the way to do this. Like, you don't know which one's your keeper until you smoke all of them repeatedly, right? Like, you get
to keep all of them, clone everything.
That's my question.
Smoke everything.
That's my question.
Bad after smoking.
How do we do this? if we're gonna like, if we keep our keepers by smoking them and be like becoming familiar with them, and like it's more than obvious when you do, then like even you, my wife, my buddies, like everyone that's come across these strains I have in jars are like they crack number 2 and they're like, ooh, that's which one's this, like
I mean, you could just automatically clone everything.
That's how I do it. When I do a seed run, I'll take cuts from every single one that I'm flowering out.
Is that what we do?
That's the best way to do it, because that way now you have an inventory of it, and you can always keep that thing stunted in the solo cup for a long fucking time. Believe me, I've done it. So it's the only way you're going to be able to know, unless you want to do some tissue culture or something. But like, you can't tell in veg, and you can't even really even tell in flower. I mean, let me roll that back a little bit, right? Some of the things you're looking for in a keeper isn't just the smoke at the end of the day, right? How easy is it to grow? How well is it responding to your environment? What's the structure like? Is this something that I'm going to want to continue to work with? So right off the bat, I've eliminated a few. And there's been times where I wish I would have maybe said like, oh, that smoke was really good, but it was a finicky fucking pheno. So at the end of the day, it's just like, no, you have to kind of like weigh everything out. It's pros and cons. What's more important to you? You may decide that, like, for instance, you fucked up, or the way you're portraying it, you fucked up. You thought 1 was going to be the keeper, and it turns out 2 is. So some people might decide differently, though. Like, I could come over there, smoke 1, and be like, nah, man, I like 1 better. So
for sure,
it's in the eye of the beholder.
For sure, and exactly, like what I think is a keeper might not be your keeper. Everyone's got different objectives with the plant at the end of the day. Like if you're looking to breed, like, I don't know, like you said, Monster, ease of growth, how easy it is to breed with counts for a lot. Some of this stuff I hear like all the time. I hear strains mentioned like, oh, that one's like super hard to make seeds with. Well, why would you want to work with that if you're a breeder? But it's just, what are your goals? And I'm growing personal stash as a smoker, trying to avoid the local dispo. And it's true. I mean, truly, it's just about like, which one am I enjoying best? Which is the best smoke? So I guess there are things you can look for when the plant's still alive that like, might tell you if the plant's worth keeping around. Like definitely bud structure, growth patterns, all that stuff. But like, I don't know it's just which one's the most fire in the jar. Like that's 90% of it for me,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to enjoy smoking it. Otherwise, what the fucking point of keeping it?
That's it. At the end of the day, it's just which one am I enjoying the most as a smoke? And shouldn't have judged the book by its cover, or I don't know. Does that apply in this case? Sure, I guess. But it still have that re-veg. Doesn't mean it's not good. I'm not saying it's no good.
No, it's good.
It's definitely good. But it wasn't the best one. I know, and it's just like shit.
How's the re-veg going?
Well, I haven't taken any clones yet. And to be honest, it's just like, what's the fucking point of keeping the re-veg of like the second best of the 2 seeds that I popped?
Well, do you have any more of do you have any more of those seeds?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Like it's kind of just like, I should just pop more seeds at this point. I don't know what I'm doing with this.
You're going to be kind of disappointed every time you look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to mow her down?
Yeah, I'll probably,
snuff film coming?
But I'll have to do it. Yeah. maybe another snuff film on its way. Exactly. I don't like doing it because, man, the re-vegging is cool. Like these plants really do struggle and want to be alive.
Yeah. It can be really fast too. I was surprised at how quickly it can happen.
So not looking forward to it. But a snuff film will help. You're right.
Makes you feel better on the
right.
inside.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Makes me feel better. But yeah, I don't know. Let's change the subject a little here. So have you guys seen the $1,000 quillaja package that you can pre-order?
You're joking, right?
I mean, who the fuck do they think they're selling to?
You know what? Like, I'm not even lying, dude. Like the same quillaja that I was buying on Build a Soil, like it's great shit. I love Build a Soil, but like the price of this quillaja, even the fucking 2-ounce package, which is that much in a little package, okay, is $70.
I'm looking this up right now.
$70 for the 2-ounce. Okay, the 8-ounce package is $250. Okay,
Is it going to read bedtime stories to your plants? Like, what does this stuff do that's so magical?
Yeah, at this point, I'll just use yucca or something. Like
that's what I'm saying, dude. There's
worth the squeeze.
Nut. There's all sorts of stuff that I could use to get some saponins, but like $1,000 kilo of quillaja, it's the high grade one. Okay, the 60 test, right? And apparently, yeah, like there's a global shortage because what is it, the beverage industry that's using this shit? I think to like provide a nice little froth on top of that iced tea, and you pour it out, that nice Snapple.
Really? That's how they're getting that?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like it's definitely a lot of foods. Yeah, here we got I know we got a professional chef listening, Stoney out there. He's verifying, right?
Yeah,
trying to bring up his there he is. Wait, that was Assa Slapper.
That's all right. Shout out to Assa Slapper.
Good dude too. Yeah. Good dude too. Yeah. Stoney says food industry, but oh yeah, root beer specifically, he says is one of the big culprits. Interesting, but like, goddamn, making the price of quillaja go through the fucking roof here. Crazy.
That's interesting. I had no idea that it was in food. I didn't know that it was edible. Something inedible. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, look. Just right off the bat, like before quillaja really became super popular, people were using yucca root for years. I don't see why we can't just continue to do that. You can even buy that shit at your grocery store, for crying out loud. Like you can get yucca everywhere.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, they should be putting yucca root in the root beer. Not quillaja, no. But yeah, right. It's there's just a lot of stuff. Okay, like saponins are what you're after here. Like quillaja is just the agent in this case. It's a natural product, an extract of sorts. That's, I mean, apparently not so easily sourced, but like there's a lot of other stuff, guys, with the same saponins in them. That's not going to cost you $1,000 a fucking kilo.
Oh my God! If you can pay $1,000 a kilo, then I am thrilled for you. Well, congratulations! That's awesome.
That's more than
for the rest of us.
That's more than blow, right? No. That's a kilo's a lot more than that. All right, never mind. Yeah.
Still, substitutions.
What's a kilo of blow for these days? I have no fucking clue.
Is Hank still in here? Good toast. Shout out to Hank.
With the 60, not the 20 shit. All right. I don't want that watered down fucking quillaja 20. You know how they have like 2 grades now?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like the juice just possibly can't be worth the squeeze for that. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody could correct me, but that's a lot of fucking money for just some saponins, man.
It is here. Yeah, I have it up here. And it's like, don't get me wrong. I've used the stuff. I like the stuff. It works.
That literally says $1,000.
It says $1,000 for a kilo. Yes.
Is this a new product and this is the price that it's always been?
No,
or is
no,
this a product and the price just went astronomically high?
So if I'm not mistaken, all right, like this is the kilo, mind you, the kilo. If like, I'm pretty sure I bought the 2 ounce before, and because
how much is the 2 ounce?
Very like it's a very. So
all right, the 2 ounces is 70.
70, but like
all right.
it used to be 40. Okay, and I thought that was like wildly expensive. All right, because you get 2 ounces of powder. It does last a good long time because it is, again, like it's very high grade shit. You only need a little bit to get those saponins in your water, but like my God, like $70 is like I ain't made of money here, right? I ain't made of money. And it's a natural product you can get in a lot of other things. I'm just saying yucca, yeah, like you said, even soap nut is like an often overlooked ingredient. Like you can make an extract from that stuff in the same way that you would like, I don't know, you ever extract like alkaloids from any other plant? Use like a solvent and dissolve it off. Sure, like maybe that would work. I'm just speculating. Really, I have no fucking clue. But there's got to be a DIY solution out there to make like a kind of pure extract quality saponin product. That's not going to cost us $1,000 a kilo, guys. Let's put our heads together. I'm sure we can do it.
Yeah. It's just a lot of money, man.
I mean, no.
So much money.
I just want to buy like a 800-watt grow light with that money, or like I don't know. What else would you do with
build an entire setup from beginning to end
for less?
Way less.
For less, arguably. I know.
Okay. Do you want the plants that you have really, really, really wet, or do you want like twice as many plants?
What do you mean?
Well, if you're going to spend $1,000, you can either double your space, or you can keep the plants that you have super wet.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that. I mean, that
I just want my soil super wet, guys. Like super wet.
Time.
My soil's got to be so evenly super wet, like all the time.
No, not just wet. Moist.
I need the super high test quillaja. That's the only product that will do. No, that ain't it. Brands be damned. I'm just like, if I can find a cheaper replacement, I will. I mean, you like I've shown on. Remember the Great Quillaja challenge I did on IG back in the day?
Yeah, that shit was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The shit was terrible, but I bet you, if we compare the prices now, that shit's probably more cost effective to buy it from Amazon.
But did you get any foam at all from that? If I remember correctly, like there wasn't any.
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you still have it?
I do, actually. Yeah. I do. Maybe I do another test. Who knows? Or make some root beer. I'll do that too.
Yeah. Now that's the other thing I'm wondering. Like these people, the beverage industry, are they using the good Q? Or the shit that we're getting from Amazon?
Well, I imagine it has to be like human food grade.
Yeah, it's food grade's usually really high quality. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
It's even higher than like the 60. That's your like super pure, like unrefined Coke product. I mean, can you even imagine how much that goes for a kilo?
And forgive me for my ignorance, but where the hell does this quillaja come from?
It is a type of bark that's really like it's imported from foreign country. It's a type of bark. That's all I know.
Okay, more than me. So
yeah, they have like.
Sounds like we're barking up the wrong tree. Arr.
There you go. Love it. But yeah. What you got garden wise going on, guys? Any like what plants are you growing at the moment? What phase are you in?
So I just cut down a bunch of prayer glue, and I cut down a bunch of more. I did a test run with CO2. I don't know if I remember talking about this a while back. I ran 2 separate rooms. Now the conditions aren't created equal in said room, but it's pretty damn close. And you know, back in the day when I ran CO2, I didn't really notice the benefits as much, and that was with high pressure sodium. I can emphatically tell you, if you're pushing the fucking PPFD, CO2 is definitely worth the squeeze, especially in the summertime. It's going to allow you to run a little bit warmer, which will help on cooling costs. So I'm sold on it. And
with LEDs specifically,
yeah, it was quite a difference. I mean, like the colas were like 3 times the size of the other ones. Like they're just fucking mammoth. They really just beasted out. And I didn't even like I fucked up on this run. I think I could have fed them a little bit more because they were hungry. You know, because you're pushing CO2, you need to feed them more. And I was, but by the time I noticed it, like I've said this before, once you notice a deficiency, you've already done fucked up. The plant hasn't been optimized because it's already gone that long without it. And now you're finally seeing it. So, but anyway, I'm quite happy with the results, and it was pretty cheap. If you seal up your room tightly, a 20-pound tank can last a while. Like it was lasting me almost a week and a half, 2 weeks, and it cost $25 to fill. Really not that bad.
Not bad at all. Now, you mentioned sealed room. That's often like the thing I hear people bring up when we're talking CO2. Like, well, unless you have a sealed room, it's not worth it. What do we mean by that? And like,
it'll just cost you a lot more if you don't have a sealed room.
So, by sealed room, do we look? I know because you're exhausting the CO2 and like the plant's not getting the benefit, but like theoretically, the CO2 is still going to be in there for some duration of time. Like it will be used by the plant. Like, sure, it's going to be exhausted, right? Like up in my attic, I have the window open and I have, one of the inline fans, like the 6-inch, like going out the window, always exhausting out the window. Even in the summertime, like when I got the AC running, when I got the DHU working, like always the hot air from the tents going out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a sealed room?
No, you can't be You're in a CO2 environment. You need to be running full-time air conditioning.
Yeah, like it does. It always. I mean, but I know, like, so
you wouldn't be.
I seal the window and then like crank the AC even more. I gotcha.
Yeah, you would have to like keep that heat in the room and recirculate it and cool it down.
All right, that's what I do in the winter time.
Yeah. Basically, it would because if you're shooting your exhaust out the window, you're literally sucking the CO2 with it. And not to say that you couldn't do it, but it would cost you a lot more. Like a 20-pound tank might only last you a day or two throwing it out the window. And another mistake people make too with CO2 is you want to connect it to your light timer. You don't need to be running it at night. It's just kind of a waste because then plant can't utilize it at night. So you just run it on your light timer, and then you don't want to run it really the last like couple of weeks. Kind of pointless, and it will deter maturation of the plant. It'll just keep trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're going to lose terps. It's not something you want to do. So you want to cut it off the last couple of weeks. And yeah, man, I fucking
say like last
maybe even 3, like 2.5, 3.
Okay.
And then yeah, the thing about it, and like you don't need like when I say sealed room, right? Like you can go crazy and like try to seal up every crack. I'm not about that. You know what I mean? I actually even will have my exhaust fan come on a timer at least once a day just to get the stale air out of there and start over again. So if I wasn't doing that, the CO2 might have lasted me even a little bit longer. But you need the air conditioning because you can't exhaust your heat. So you gotta factor that into your cost of operation. So but I was pleasantly pleased with the results. It's drying right now, so we'll see how the smoke is compared to, because it's the same cut acquired by at Mass Hydro from Mass Medical to breeder drop. He drops breeder's cuts there. So I didn't even have to hunt this cut. It was just this was his keeper, basically. And he's the breeder. So look, if you're going to get cuts of a certain strain, ain't nobody better to get them from than the fucking breeder, right? Because they know,
The breeder knows, but like, so that's an interesting question. Is it? Like, what if, so like, it all kind of ties back into our, what's your keeper discussion too. Like, the breeder's boxes that he's checking off for when, he determines which is his keeper might be different than yours. Just throwing it out there. Like,
yeah, especially a guy like Mass Medical. I mean, love the guy. I really mean it, you know what I mean? But he's kind of cunty sometimes and doesn't he doesn't necessarily I don't agree with some of his points of view.
He has opinions.
He's like on a mission to like rip cookies to like to the earth. Like anything with cookies in it is terrible and you shouldn't smoke it. I wouldn't go that far, bud.
Well, it's like, it's just that cookies is in everything, that's
it is, but you got to remember too. There's a little bit of reason and logic behind that, right? That's because that's what the market wanted, and that's what the people wanted. So yeah,
though.
Of course,
is it
because
or was that what was marketed? Or was that what?
I think it's a combination of both. But like the market goes where
to the people.
It's a combination of both. The market goes where the people want it to go. And it's at the end of the day, nobody put a gun to these breeders' heads to fucking cross everything with cookies. They did it because it was just the hype, dude. Like
I know
everybody wanted cookies,
Cookies.
We made our bed and now we're laying in it, right?
A little bit. But, we are.
But luckily, there's so much good shit out there that doesn't necessarily have to be crossed with cookies if you don't like that type of thing. But look, I'm not opposed to a well-grown cookies hybrid or whatever.
Me either. No, not at all. But
it'll rebalance.
But I see the point.
Something else will turn into the next cookies, right? There'll be the next fad strain that everything is crossed with.
Yeah, we're already there with like marker or whatever. Like, there's a lot of strains that people are like, oh, I'm so sick of seeing that with this or that. Whatever.
Trendy weed.
Oh my God. Hype strains.
Strains are usually hype strains for a reason though, because they're good.
They are good. Okay.
I heard cookies causes depression. Like
yeah,
makes depression worse.
That's a mass medical marketing thing. Like not maybe that's his experience with it.
I don't know.
And it could be true. Like, listen, I listened to a podcast the other day that was claiming that cookies is in fact like a Rothschild conspiracy where they're trying to genetically engineer the medicinal value out of cannabis. A part of it that like would kill cancer, they want it to give you cancer. And that's what cookies is apparently for. It's like the,
I don't know. I tend to lean towards yes on a lot of conspiracy theories, but that one seems fucking way too far off.
I thought it was crazy enough to be true. I'll tell you that much.
Honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy enough to have some resonance.
There's so many other ways to give us cancer. That they're already using. So
yeah, I know.
Much easier ways.
But maybe would in some way want the cannabis not to be medicinal anymore and just to like literally make you like stoned and kind of depressed afterwards. Like, and that's what people say. And I've heard it other places than just Mass Medical, like G3 was saying. Like it's an after effect with the cookies. It's not specifically like while you're smoking it. Like everyone likes to be high, but like it's when you're coming down. It's like after you're not high anymore. It's just like doesn't.
It's like drinking soda. There's so much salt in it that it makes you more thirsty by drinking it. So you're drinking it, you're like, this is great. I'm quenching my thirst. How refreshing. And then 10 minutes afterwards, you're like, I'm so thirsty again. Makes you drink more. Tons of sodium.
Right?
Same type of thing. Gross. If it makes you depressed, you'll smoke more. It's still a little far-reaching at this time. It's a little early, I think.
It does, and to have that like plan in mind, we're like we're gonna breed the medicinal value out of the plant. Alex Jones voice.
I love when he was on Rogan. He's like, I'm a little retarded, and I'm like, oh my god, dude,
the great clip.
Yeah.
The great clip. They're trying to put some chemicals in the weed. They're going to turn the freaking frogs gay. Swear to God. No, it's I thought it was kind of funny or interesting at least. It's not funny. I mean, if it's true, shit, it's not funny at all. Like, but you're right, Monster, in the sense that like the market just kind of. That's where the market took the breeding, I think, in a lot of cases. Like people loved.
Unfortunately, most people don't want to like believe this, but most of the cannabis market isn't driven by your connoisseurs. It's driven by shitheads who literally just want the highest THC percentage they can possibly get, and they don't care about terps or effects because they don't know any better. And that's the sad truth, but it's just the way it is. Like, we can all think that we're maybe making it different. In some ways we may, but at the end of the day, like I don't live too far from a dispo, and I see retards lined up there before they open every fucking day to go in there and pay like $53 out the door for an eighth of subpar flower.
$70, $80 burner eighths.
And we got cookies stores popping up around here. They don't seem to last. There's already been a couple of them that have shut down.
Yeah, Back to the Future has a great point. Why is it that they all wear flat brimmed hats?
I hate that thing.
Why?
That's one of those not in my house
do
rules.
That?
I don't really like flat brim hats. I'm always going to bend that shit a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know why. Great observation. I don't know. I don't know either. But like, yeah, when I picture a guy lined up at a cookies dispo waiting for that 31% gelato drop, he's wearing a flat brimmed hat. It probably says
now, not all people that wear flat brimmed hats are douche whistles, but it's a good sign. You know what I mean? It's something you can look for.
Red flag.
It's a harbinger.
Like, you remember that? There was that meme that went around the internet for the longest time. It was that dude standing in a doorway with the flat brim hat. He was always like the douche. So like,
that was an old meme, dude. Meme.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Oh, I forget what we called him, man. What was it? Man, he was like the bad dude. He was like the asshole who was gonna like fight you at your party. Man, he was a good meme. Solid meme. So like, all right, in the we're talking about hype breeding a little bit, picking keepers, like all this stuff. It kind of ties together. Like, what I want to know ultimately is like, how the fuck do some of these breeders grab, like, let's say it's permanent marker now. Like I used that example earlier. Like, grab that, that new hype strain and hit the pollen you got to like, bunch of different lines, and you put out like your permanent marker cross line. How is any of this flower or any of these seeds, like, how is this stuff tested? Like, I'm actually like demanding to know at this point. I don't think any testing is being done. Like, I don't think people smoke their flower. I don't think people grow their seeds before they release shit anymore.
There ain't a lot of them.
I don't. There's some, and they're small guys, dude. They're your like mom and pop breeders. They're the ones we talk about. And yeah, there's guys doing it right, but like, so where I think the issue comes in is in the scaling of your seed making. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, like how big you're getting.
Yeah, like
how many seeds you're producing.
How many seeds you're making. How do you turn from like a small guy into a big guy? How do you become a mom and pop shop, or how do you turn the mom and pop shop into a fucking Walmart? That's your goal, right? Some people, that's their goal. Like, legit. I guess that's why they grow Walmart weed, right? That's why their beans would grow Walmart weed. But like, I just don't understand how people scale up the process to the point where like you can provide packs of beans to anyone who wants them all the time. Okay, like have your store open 24/7, and if people are actually buying them in bulk and shit and like running your gear, how is it that how is any of this stuff tested before it goes out onto the market? I don't think it is. I think people are lying to us, and I'm just calling them out on it. Damn it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of breeders that aren't testing shit. But like somebody who I've actually seen work with the plant, like somebody like Ross from Fresh Coast, he's one of the pickiest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. Like we were smoking on some shit, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was the bomb. Like really, like this is amazing. He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't really like this one at all, for like one reason or another, and he just like scraps it. So like I couldn't even tell you what the name of the strain was. He's like, nah, I don't think it's a winner. He's like picky, somebody like Joint, you know what I mean? For like all these
The
people
small guys, man, the
that
small guys.
that we know, they have morals and standards, and they're not gonna, like we've talked about it with like people like even like Outcast, right? Small,
The small
small
guys.
time like, no, that just wasn't working out for me, so I scrapped it. But then there are others that just don't give a fuck. But those aren't breeders, man. Those are fucking pollen chuckers, and they're only in it for the loot, and that's all they see is dollar signs. Look,
There's
the
also
community will speak too. Like if you start throwing out a bunch of packs of duds, you ain't gonna make it long in this day and age, dude. Cancel culture is fucking for real. If your shit sucks, it's only a matter of
yeah,
time.
but it's the same like flat brimmed hat wearing idiots like that are growing the flower at the same time too, or just like, oh, this permanent markers Kittle's cross was fire. Like maybe it was, sure, but like they'll say anything's fire if it's got that Mylar pack and that brand name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a
Like
lot of people that dick ride.
they'll
It's true.
buy anything. Yeah, they're dick riders, man. Like
Mhm.
they're out there. You know who
I mean,
you
I think
are.
that there's some that aren't like necessarily that flippant about it. There are some breeders that do like they've done their work with their own stuff and they have their stable genetics and they cross with another breeder's stable genetics. You can assume that
No,
the
you
offspring are going to
can't
be
assume.
somewhat stable, can't you? I mean, if it's
I don't
coming from
know.
two
Can you?
stable,
That's the question. Like,
similar, I mean, I would assume them being similar would help.
what can you assume about it? Like, can you write a description of the types of like smells, the types of effects? Like what's the growth pattern of this plant? Like any breeder who doesn't give you that shit with all of their gear, it's just like they're probably not growing it. You know what I mean? Like I see way too many of these line drops with hype gear, and there's not nearly enough strain description anymore. I want to know about the plant. I want the breeder to tell me, like, specific things, like what things I should keep an eye out for. I really appreciate that as a grower, like, shit, have you ever looked at Night Owl's like strain guide? Sometimes he'll like tell you just like straight up, this strain has been known to throw a ball in like week 4. So keep an eye out on the bottom branches. Grows some great flower though, like but keep an eye out. Like, yeah, this one doesn't like
the importance
nitrogen.
of knowing and trusting your breeder, right? Do your homework.
Yeah. I don't know. I see too much of it. And there's a lot of great breeding out there at the same time. We know who we love, that's our mom and pop breeders. And that's it is the problem. Like, how do you scale your breeding? Like, we all want our mom and pop breeders to like become successful one day. I'm not saying they have to become Walmart of seeds, but like they want to like make a living, sell their gear. I would love for everyone to be able to have that, attain that dream if it is their dream, you know? But how do you scale from going from like a guy in a tent, or can just a guy in a tent make that many thousands of seeds that it's like it shouldn't even be an issue?
Well,
do you feel like Mephisto scaled successfully?
Yes and no. See, like I could use them as an example here.
So like they have a whole line. I want to say it's their Illuminados. They're specifically released as untested strains, like untested crosses.
Yes.
So you know what you're getting into. They tell you exactly what you're walking into. And then their artisanal lines and us are things that have been tested for years and years and years.
It's crazy too how those Illuminados like fly off the shelf. Like people want those more than anything else. At least it was that way. Like,
oh, the Illuminados are where it's at. I got
it's
one.
It's because the potential in them is so fun.
I know. The Man-Bear Alien Pig at one point was an Illuminato, and to this day, it was my favorite autoflower ever.
And there's something in the initial like F1 cross, like it's the hybrid vigor, as opposed to like
vigor,
the F5, F8, you know, that you might get in artisanal. You're gonna get what they tell you for sure. It's definitely like a more specified thing, like where you know what you're gonna get. That's why they took it to F8. But it's like from what I have seen, at least, like when you take it that far, it loses a little bit of vigor. It's really the only word for it. And it could tend to grow a little slower, have like a little bit more of those, like, I don't know, deformed leaf tape shapes on it, that kind of stuff. Chicken foot phenos, all that stuff will come out. Further down the line it gets, I think. You know, I always appreciated the F1s. That's why I got I call it the funky margarita, but it's not. How do you pronounce
it? Funky Mangifera.
Mangifera.
Yeah, M-A-N-G.
It should be good. So Mephisto, again, is a good example because, like, from what I understand, okay, like the demand for their product became so overwhelming that like they are no longer doing it all themselves. They had to outsource some of the breeding work to farms and whatnot. Like, and like while there may be a recipe in like what exactly the strain is, like what they're looking for in the parental selection and that kind of stuff, I can't imagine that like they're going to each and every farm and like looking at the selections each time, you know, the originators. I forget their names at the time. Mitch and Stan or
Tim.
Yeah, Tim, those guys, all the Mephisto guys. I can't imagine like they're going there, like flying around, like meeting everyone, shaking hands, like, all right, well, this is, you know, I'm glad you picked that one because I would have done the same thing, sort of thing. At a certain point, does it not become a person that you've paid to breed your gear in the way that you have specified, in the same way that like a brewery would do it, like Bud Light doesn't, like, they don't make all their own beer anymore. They just contract brew. There's a recipe and there's like a different brewer at a different place, but he has the recipe. But guess what? Shit doesn't taste the same every time because of all those things. If you really care. But I guess,
I mean, you throw in slightly more variety into autoflowers, which have inherent variety.
They do. It's difficult. And like, I work for a brewery. I see the parallel sort of thing. And like, I work for a brewery that's trying to grow and like scale up, that sort of thing. It's just like, how do you do it without ultimately like paying some Joe Schmo, who may or may not give a single fuck about what you care about, who just at the end of the day, doing it for a paycheck. He's the contract breeder guy. He's the contract brewer guy. He's just doing it because you can't produce all that you need to in-house. At a certain point, it just becomes not the same product. And that's like the true challenge, is making that product the same every time. That's why, like, fucking McDonald's, hate them or love them, like, they're one of the best companies, because you go to a McDonald's anywhere on earth and the McGangbang is the same every time. You ever get one of those?
Well, isn't that what's is that a cheeseburger and a McChicken?
Yeah, it's like it's a fucking McDouble stuffed inside 2 McChickens or something. I don't even know, dude. I saw it on TikTok one time. I went up to my local McDonald's. I was like, I'll take a McGangbang. And
did you order the McGangbang?
No fucking clue what I was talking about.
Get the fuck out of here.
No fucking clue. No fucking clue.
And did they had no clue? Yeah, because I think you have to order said items separately. Dude, I would have killed to see that. Can I get a
don't recommend you getting it. Just stick with a Big Mac. I mean, for crying out loud. But like, you see what I'm saying, guys. It's the challenge for the people who can do it well. Like, I mean, I do think like Mephisto has done it pretty well. Like, it's the true challenge. Like, if you buy a pack of their creme de la creme now, it looks the same in all the pictures I see. I still see any creme de la creme out there. That's creme de la creme. Look at that. Look at those fat cabbage leaves. Same
She's
plant.
a pretty girl.
So like, it's challenging, but like, and I don't know. It's just, yeah, you lose a little bit of punk rock credo. That's you do when you move to that stage of your like enterprise. You do. Just deal with it. But the money you'll make up for it, I assure you. If you're at that phase where you're like paying someone else to work for you, you're probably doing okay. You're probably doing okay. Like, don't worry about so much about like assholes like me ripping on you on some rinky-dink internet show,
Yeah, how else would you meet the demand? I mean, the demand was so high, they couldn't just leave that on the table. What other option was there?
I don't know. Like, honestly, it's too overwhelming for me now, though. Like, truly, there was a certain magic about the Mephisto store being open for 5 minutes a week. Like, every Monday. Like, it was an excitement.
It was so
there was like
fun.
something to wait for. Now that I can go and just order anything I want all the fucking time, like, it's not exciting anymore.
It's
back in the day,
but it's not exciting.
When they first started popping, you could order 24 hours a day. The way it would work, though, is you'd put an order in, and then they would send you a PayPal request, and you'd pay via PayPal, and then you would get your beans.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't even take like credit card payments, huh?
Nope. Yeah. In the early days, it was cool though. You know what I mean? And that's when it was just the boys up in Spain, and then they had somebody doing their shipping from the U.S. So if you ordered the beans are always coming out of the U.S. They weren't internationally shipped. So it was always cool. Like, and you would get them quickly. You'd put the order in, and they'd come pretty quick, and you'd always get freebies and slaps, and the Mephisto math.
Math.
Yeah,
love it.
Before they even called it that.
Yeah.
Like you would order 3 and get like 7. And plus freebie with the strain you didn't order. Like, every order had at least, you always got more than you paid for. And they were always very generous with
they still do, but now it's not like Math used to be much more generous, and now it's a specified number. Like
Yeah,
you
but
know
it's still pretty
exactly how
cool
many you're
because
getting. But it's awesome because it takes
still
care of any
freebies.
duds. That's
not every
exactly what
breeder,
it's there for.
not every breeder gives out freebies, and they don't really
Yeah.
have to. So
They sure
It
don't.
saves them a shit ton of work, honestly. Because if a bean doesn't pop for whatever reason, okay, we gave you extras. Quit your bitching.
mhm.
Just saves them a ton of work, extra shipping, dealing with customers, all of that. It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
Well,
it's obviously
that's-
worked out for them.
it has. And like, I'm still a fan. I'm growing a Mephisto, you know, the F1. I choose them a little more wisely now because I do
Mhm.
appreciate that sort of hybrid vigor growth pattern. But like, I guess it's just me telling you to like support the small guys too.
Yeah,
Like your
for
mom and pop
sure.
breeders who are out there doing the good work. Like
That's where
actually
all the I think
making
a ton of ingenuity is coming from
Yeah.
there over at the
Yep.
bigger guys.
the guys who are doing it themselves. Like maybe it's just tent pirate breeding, like doing it in a tent. Maybe it's 3 tents in an attic because you need more than one to breed. Right? Yeah, for sure. Like tent pirate
I
breeder.
mean,
He can
do you
probably
technically?
focus.
You could do it in one.
It would take a lot longer though. Come on, it'd be very inefficient.
It would be very inefficient.
But like,
It could.
this is my vote for the mom and pop shop, the small breeder. Like, support local, support your small breeder, support your local craft cannabis breeder, because they are making all the selections themselves. They are touching every plant. They grow every cross before they release it. They can tell you about everything you want to know as a grower about what the plant might do, what it might not do, what kind of terps, what kind of tastes, what kind of effects. Craft breeders, guys. Not your big name, like name on a Mylar package. I'm sorry. Just that ain't where it's at anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
done
my
with
whole
that.
next run is little guys. Not little. I'm not calling you guys little. Small craft cannabis.
Craft breeders. I mean, and
Craft
I'm not
breeders.
saying, like, that's not to say, right, that like a craft breeder wouldn't use cookies in a cross, because there are desirable traits, you know, in cookies. Like, I like them myself sometimes. But however, that's one thing I have been on the hunt for recently is non-cookies genetics. Because they are increasingly hard to find, and like specifically because I'm a sucker for nostalgia, right? And I grew up on the East Coast, and I'm sure Monster remembers. G3, you probably do too. The East Coast sour diesel that we used to get around here.
Yeah.
That, like, people claim it's gone. People claim that, among other things, are just gone, like kind of like lost to time.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I think it's out there. I've been seeing a lot of breeders, claiming they have cuts that have been kept around for 25 years or so. Being
It's
brought
going to be
back,
like one of those, like,
being
this
used.
exotic bird hasn't been seen in the wild in 70 years. And they just reappear. It's going to be the same thing with these strains. They just show up again.
They do just kind of, well, because there's been some like old hippie keeping his cut of East Coast sour diesel alive for the last 25 years. Like, truly, I believe that.
Yeah, I'm sure
Someone.
there's diesel around. Skunk, I'm not so sure about. But
that's a funny one. You mentioned that, right? Because among my recent seed purchases in my hunt, I'm looking for that too, man. That's one that they say was lost to the test of time. I think I found one that's promising. This one of the only like big name breeders I've seen drop like a skunk line recently. Dominion, who we heard Main Girl talk about.
Hmm.
Actually, maybe a guest on a future show. Fingers crossed. I'm just looking for more obscure genetics. Listen, cookies I can find anywhere. I don't know. Like, it's just, for me, it's about the rarity. It's about the maybe a little bit of preservation too. Well, shit, I'm no preservationist or breeder. I just want to enjoy it once again. I'm just a nostalgitist. Is that a word?
No.
Maybe. Well,
but you know what I mean.
It is now.
It is now. I'm a sucker.
They add words to the dictionary every year.
I appreciate a good nostalgia sometimes. And I do think the sour diesel is going to do it for me. So I have, the skunk is kind of a side project, but I got a couple, different genetics. I'm super excited to do a sour diesel run. Listen, I got this one, Headband and Sour Diesel.
Who's the breeder of that?
Katsu.
Okay.
I heard of him on Dude Grows show once. I'm not sure if he's an American or if he's from Amsterdam or what. What I can tell you is that Headband is a cross of OG Kush and Sour Diesel. So this would then, in theory, be 3/4 Sour Diesel and a quarter OG Kush. So
sounds good.
Yeah, I couldn't get the inbred line. It was sold out too quick. But really looking for those sour and those. What did you mention at the beginning of the show, Monster? Sour
Gas.
and gas.
Gas.
Those are my favorite. And I love the skunk too. So like I think I've sour gas. I'm looking for them. I found this one too. You'll like this, Monster. You see this?
Diesel Frost.
Slurricane and Sour Diesel.
Yeah, you fucking can't go wrong with. I mean, there's another hype strain that's definitely worth the hype. Slurricane
crossed with Sour Diesel. So is Slurricane a cookies base?
I don't know. I'm sure if you go back, it's because it's Do-si-do.
Do-si-do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then it is. Crossed with Purple Punch.
Then it is. It is. Yep. So, is what it is. Like, again, I'm not.
Can't help it. It's everywhere.
No, and Do-si-do is a very sought after strain as well. It's still amazing shit. If you if you can get a hold of good Do-si, it's fucking definitely worth your time. So like,
I want to say thank you to Assa Slapper too. He was a good dude hooking me up with these, man. He sent these out to me. I'm pumped to grow these.
Sweet.
Frost. I told him I was looking for him. He was like, "Oh man, I know this breeder." Hadn't heard of him. So I'm excited to check those out for sure. And thank you. And I got the West Coast sour in not such a nice package, but hey, they sent it to me a little baggy. What can you do? From 2020. Got those. And they sent me a little freebie too. I got some banana punch and Sour Diesel. I got a bunch of shit and Sour Diesel.
Interesting to see the hunt. What are you popping first?
I'm probably gonna do a little bit of all of them. That's the thing. I'm not really sure. How much room do I have? Some of them are fems, some of them are regs. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah, first world problems.
First world problems, for sure. Seed hoarder problems too. It's just like that's way too many seeds as is. And I got the skunk too that I really want to do. So like, fuck me. I'm set.
The only reason you say that is because they're not organized. They're taking over your whole dining room. That's when it's a problem.
It is.
They just need to be organized and then it's fine.
I know. I need my own refrigerator for my seed collection because that's truly how to keep them fresh for longer. Yep. And I'm not going to be able to grow these anytime soon, most of them.
Well, all your totes generally stay at 60-60, right? Chuck them in one of your giant totes.
True. Not a bad idea. About a big like deep freeze. How about a big freezer, chest freezer? Would that work?
At what temperature do seeds die? Can you freeze seeds? I mean, I guess, yeah.
You
A lot
can.
of
I mean,
seeds go
that's
through
what
cold
winter does,
stratification.
right?
So, what about cannabis seeds, though?
I think you're better off refrigerating them.
That's what I've heard, but I don't see why. But
Well,
again,
if they're frozen and they unfreeze, maybe, I don't know, you can end up with a problem there too quickly, like frosting. Like, I don't know. I've never refrigerated my seeds, honestly. I just keep them in a cool, dark place. A basement usually works. And, it is what it is. I've never really had too many problems popping older seeds that I've had for, years at a time. So, I don't know. It just is what it is. Cool.
Consistency really
cool
is
and
the most
dark,
important thing.
Cool and dark.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want a lot of light getting to them, and you don't want a lot of heat getting to them. So
and put them in one place and leave them there.
Yeah, basements usually work just fine.
Basements or
dining
chest
room
freezers
tables.
in a basement.
Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't tell you yay and nay on that. I've never frozen seeds, so can't recommend it.
Someone will have to let us know out there. I'm curious because I do have a little bit of room in a chest freezer. I'm not gonna lie.
You should look into isn't there like some building that has like a bunch of like food seeds in it?
Yeah, the Svalbard Seed Vault.
Yeah, so look into how they do it, right? Because
they freeze the shit out of them. So
there you go. So maybe it's the answer.
So we got Stony trying to give us an answer here. He might know a little bit more about it than we do. Freezing water expands. Yep. Okay. Burst cell walls like a plastic water bottle in the freezer. That makes sense, especially if frozen slowly. So we need to be sure that our seeds are super not moist. What's the opposite of moist? Dry.
Yeah.
I was trying to look for a better word than just dry, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know a synonym for dry.
A
lot of words. There's a lot of synonyms for wet, not so many for dry. You ever think about that? Why is that? That's odd.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know. That is a fucking strange one, though. I can't think of another one, but I'm high as fuck right now.
Right. No, that makes sense, though, Stony. Like, you certainly want to make sure that it is here. Oh my God. Goonie tells us, got a wall of text here. In the freezer, the delicate frozen tissues in the seed embryo can shatter if the seeds are mishandled or shaken. That's why the freezer is only recommended for those placing seeds into very long-term storage. Interesting. I mean, in my case, I might call it that. So when you take them out of this long-term storage, you probably want to put them in like the fridge then for a little bit, maybe even a few weeks to just slowly.
Yeah, and then I would also freeze them with desiccant packs or something too.
Yeah, right. Those tasty motherfuckers that come in shoe boxes, right?
Yeah, those are great. You just open them up, like salt on your food.
So delicious. That makes sense, guys. It's kind of high level stuff, but like, just be careful if you're freezing seeds. I think we mentioned it. The fridge is recommended for most people's applications. So buy a little seed fridge.
Yeah, and I do know this much: if you're going to keep them in the fridge, don't keep taking them out and putting them back in, and taking them out and putting them back in. You want to just keep them in there, and at that point, it would obviously help to inventory before you put in, and just keep a strict inventory. That way, all right, like, well, I don't need to look through my seed bin to find out when I'm going to pop. Let me just look at my spreadsheet, right?
I used to have a spreadsheet.
That is zero fun whatsoever.
Yeah, I've never done it personally, so don't feel bad.
It was
I don't have the patience, but I don't keep mine in the fridge either. Like I said, just cool and dark.
At one point, At one point, I had a spreadsheet that was updated, and I could look at it and be like, "That's all my seeds, right there on that spreadsheet." And it has since spiraled out of control into such a hoarder situation. Like I'm just like sprawled out on the couch, and there's packs of seeds everywhere.
He is not kidding.
Me,
it is really bad.
All over the place.
It's everywhere.
There are certainly
everywhere.
When I certainly worse things.
I have to just wipe all these packs of seeds off my kitchen table when I want to eat my meals.
It's so true. It's just crazy. It's the craziest thing. I had to put my stuff down, and he literally just moved all of these seed packages to the side.
Like, don't mind these. I just got these.
These just came in this week.
Recently, this week. I gotta put these away, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah,
oh my goodness.
It's my life. My life. Guys, it was a fun show. It's getting super hot in here. Can you tell that I'm sweating like crazy here?
Yeah, my dog's been pawing at the door anyway for the last few minutes, so she's dying to get outside.
Nice. Well,
this would be a good point to
let's wrap it up. We do have I want to say thank you real quick. Hold on, let me bring it up. I know we got a new Patreon. Hold on.
K-pop.
That's who it was. K-pop. Thank you. I love K-pop too.
Thank you.
What a soothing genre of music. Just don't have to think about it. Turn it on. It's just bubblegum pop. Makes me happy.
Cool. To each their own. You won't catch me listening to K-pop.
I assume he has a different reason for that name, but maybe not. Maybe he's a huge K-pop fan. I really don't know. Don't know. To each their own, truly. But yeah, thank you, K-pop, and to anyone else out there who's feeling like supporting, your local cannabis podcast, your homegrown cannabis, your craft cannabis podcast, then head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/cultivation conversation. Or support any of our sponsors.
On the website.
Go to AC Infinity, use our code. Go to our website. Look at all our codes. That shit helps us too. But thank you guys, and thank you for those who joined us in the chat. And thank you both. I always get it wrong. You both.
It's easy to do that.
I know. Thank you both for joining me. And till next week, adios. And don't get caught. Definitely don't.